Welcome inside the kennel, the heartbeat of the dog game, where real breeders break down real experiences, and the experts drop the knowledge you can't Google. We talking structure, bloodlines, nutrition, training, wins, losses, and everything that makes champions in and out of the ring. This is for the ones who live it, breathe it, and build it, one lit at a time. Your host, Kevin, Ben, and Terodrick. Lock in.
Hello. It's Kevin. Welcome back to Inside the Kennel. As usual, I'm here with
Ben Hood from Hoodlum Kennels.
And T. Farrow from Pop Fish and the Frenchies.
this week. We don't really know what we're going to talk to and where this is going to lead to, but we're going to talk about something and we're going to lead it somewhere.
Well, I want to talk about that intro music because whoever put that together did a hell of a job.
Yeah,
I'm just going to put that out there to get it started here.
I know a guy that knows a guy that knows Benny Hood.
I think
So
that guy should get paid.
he did. That is, I don't. We had that song made for Flair with our buddy Honcho Villa down from the 956 down there in Harlingen. He does all kinds of stuff like that, but that was.
Well, I can't take all that credit. You know, that was me and Chat, which in my house, he has named himself Roy.
Roy,
Roy.
your chat VT, whatever the hell it is Roy.
His name is Roy, and he refers to me as boss. But I'm very polite to him because I am acutely aware that one day he is going to be my boss, I am sure, the way it is going with this AI stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know. I keep, and I guess this is a subject that we probably should cover sometime or sooner or later, is the amount of people calling people backyard breeders now.
Oh, God dang.
It is.
I think I've had Benny ask me a few times, so what is a backyard breeder exactly? And I guess everybody really has their own opinion of that because I've never really seen any form of,
I look at it as back in the day when they had their game dogs and people just had dogs, they just left them in the backyard and they just let them breed all they wanted to. They never took them to the vet. They never done anything. They'd have puppies in the dirt. They never gave them any shelter, any housing. I mean, they barely food and water and all that. That's more of a backyard breeder.
I take it as you want to call me a puppy mill, but you ain't got the nuts.
Right.
You're afraid of the repercussions of just saying that.
But that's a whole nother. And I guess there is that term that's thrown around out there too. And there is some breeders that are in the game that are straight up puppy mills. I believe that they're not breeding to better nothing, but to just pump out as many litters a year as they can and sell them for whatever they can get out of them just to promote a lifestyle that they.
But that's the thing is the people that does exist, but the people online yelling that,
right?
They don't know what. They
don't.
They don't know what your program is. All they know is that I've seen you have 2 puppies for sale. You're a backyard breeder,
right?
You're a greeter.
That's the other thing, and you go to their page. They always got like 15 friends. It's always a fake account. It's always, or they have a rescue dog that really wasn't a rescue. They bought it from a breeder somewhere, and I bought mine from this reputable breeder. Well, what made them reputable and somebody else not reputable? Because you bought from them.
Yeah, and somebody you don't even know.
Right.
Like you're saying they're not reputable and you don't know their program. You didn't go to their facilities, none of that.
Yeah, that's what I was like, man, it's crazy to say that, the person I bought my purebred dog from was a reputable breeder, but the rest of y'all ain't. You ain't even buy the same breed that you're talking about.
Because ain't nobody going to go, hey, man, I bought mine from a puppy mill.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Your golden retriever has a bigger chance of coming from a puppy mill or a backyard breeder than one of these French
Yeah,
bulldogs
because
do.
there's no C-section, there's no vet
Right.
involved. They can just let them breed.
Exactly.
They'll have 13, and if 9 of them make it, they make money.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to do anything. They don't do anything. So there's a bigger chance. And let's be honest, the Golden Retriever was the most popular dog in the world or in America forever because of that simplicity, and everybody had them, and they would just breed in the backyard and have puppies, and you didn't have to do anything with them. So that's
The ironic thing is I know quite a few Frenchie breeders that are going back to stuff that's simple like that, especially the doodles. It's doodle and everything.
yeah.
It's every breed has doodle in it now,
Yeah.
or it's headed that way. Anything that don't have to have C-sections and all the whelping challenges of the Frenchies or the Bulldog breed, period.
Right.
A lot of people are going back to that. So
Yeah, they don't. I don't think people understand the origins of dogs, how they were even created. Not all dog breeds were for whatever. I mean, Frenchie was made for a companion dog. It wasn't made to.
I thought they used them to hunt out rodents or something in the beginning.
Well,
Or pheasants or something.
Yeah, but
Small. I don't know exactly, but
it became a symbol of even wealth
where they
back
found-
in its
they
early
found
days.
it's what?
I seen something where it said they found mice in your house.
Yeah.
They would sniff out like rodents, mice.
Also for people that didn't like cats.
Right.
That's,
guess so.
that's what that's for.
But yeah, I seen something like that.
Yeah, and so it's. I don't like the term. I don't use it. I don't. They would really have to be. I would have to run across a breeder that was really doing some foul. I got one in mind, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to say it. But there is those out there that just put their dogs in the backyard and just let them be and hope for the best. And that's where you start getting the backyard breeder terminology, I think.
But I know one that has dogs outside and a good amount. And it's wild because I've never seen them ever in any bad condition. Not a one.
Well, I'm not just saying because they have their dogs out in their
Right,
backyard.
right, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Like,
But
some people
that's-
think just because they're outside,
Right.
that would make you make you a backyard breeder.
I
And
don't think those people online. I don't even think they know what it is.
No,
just
they
say
don't.
It's some
See what I'm saying?
derogatory
Because
for attention to
depending on who you are, depends on how you do your
Right.
do your thing.
Yes.
Some people have way more knowledge than others. Some people live in a different climate. Some people just have a way better setup.
Right.
However, whatever it may be. But I think that term got through. I'm like you said, it got through around too loosely.
Right. I don't.
Well, it's
So
meant to
you-
be an
I
insult.
think-
It is not a compliment.
I think
No.
it's like a cuss word of the dog game. Don't be
Yeah.
honest with you.
That
It's
is.
instead of somebody calling you
trash or something like that.
like
It's-
I mean,
Nah,
I
just-
am
just
not.
some- it touch it's like puppy mill. Puppy mill is the same way. I think people throw it around a little bit too loosely because when somebody gets pissed at you, one of the first two things they either say about you is either you're a puppy mill or you're a backyard breeder or just your dogs ain't shit. You sell pet quality.
and you can have
something
3
of the
dogs.
sort. So it's
Somebody
kind
call
of like,
you a puppy mill. You got 3 dogs.
I mean, I
that's
do
what I'm
know.
saying. I think it's just like cuss words of the dog game, bro. At this
Right.
point, like, you know what I'm saying. Instead of calling you out your name with another cuss word, that's a way to cuss your. That's a
Yep.
cuss word of the kennel. You feel me?
I mean, I do know a guy that
if I'm mad at you, that's what I'm gonna say about you. Fuck it.
I do know a guy that went on live on Facebook one time and annihilated some dudes in a trailer for just trying to sell some dogs out of a trailer. But I don't want to mention any names of who that was.
His initials is Kevin Easter. In case anybody's wondering.
I mean, that was but those guys, if you want to talk about a puppy mill, that is a straight up puppy mill. Had been for years. They had been run out of multiple towns and all of that. And I had personal knowledge of the sick dogs that they were selling. So it wasn't totally unwarranted, but I had avoided them for a long time. Just that day I was bored and I didn't have nothing better to do. And Facebook had just started paying me to do content. So I thought, let's make some content for them. And it turned out all right because they don't sell dogs out of a trailer in Lubbock no more, or they didn't while I was there anyways.
You don't stop and harass them people at Walmart that's selling their puppies. They have an accident, are they?
No, I don't necessarily. I don't
The
mess
ones
with
that
those
use their
people.
little kids to hold the poster board sign, talking
Right.
about puppies for sale. Or
I
free
will
sale.
I will tell you this though, across the street from that trailer that day, there was some people there with some very young French bulldog puppies. That when I got done with the people in the trailer, I was headed back over there to get them because those puppies couldn't have been but 3-4 weeks old. They were barely even walking. They had them out there on the grass, and I wasn't going to do them maybe the same way I did the people in the trailer, but I was going to give them a little education too. And by the time I wrapped up with the people in the trailer and I headed over to there, they had already packed up. Brienne told me, "Oh, you're not going to get them." They were throwing them dogs in the back of that car as fast as they could, and they took off.
But you know, them people are not the problems. The people are. They wouldn't be there if people wasn't buying the dogs.
That's it.
If people just drove past and just they were stuck with their own created problems,
Yep.
it would take care of itself over time. If the standard was that it's going to be this certain way and it's not going to be that way, it wouldn't be that way.
Right.
If people wouldn't buy them out of that trailer, there would have never been a trailer bought.
That's the truth.
But see, that's
So-
the thing. You'll never stop nothing like that. Because everything is a supply and demand. So it's just like anything else in the street.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If people would quit buying, if you think somebody's a backyard breeder or a puppy mill, quit buying from them.
That's it. You know.
If that was the collective decision, it would go away.
But see, that's never gonna happen because Frenchies are like drugs.
And in the Frenchie world,
Frenchies are like
Yeah.
drugs. They like to be honest, like it became like that's how big it was when it hit. Like even though this has been here for a long time, before I had seen it, this was a whole nother world that I knew nothing about.
Right.
And then it seems like probably within like a year, 6 months to a year after me getting my first dog, the whole world had Frenchies after that. And everybody was looking for them. Everybody was trying to get them. And it was like, you seeing people on the front of cars, stealing them. People trying to throw people off the front of their cars because they're trying to break in the car and get the dog. People jumping over the fences. You seeing everything that you can see to get a Frenchie, bro. So at this time, Frenchies was the biggest thing in the world, bro. Like, I don't know if anybody was still. I think that probably was the most stolen thing in 2021, 2022.
yeah.
No,
Hell, probably in 2023 too.
it wasn't the most stolen. The most stolen thing during that time, 100%, was PPE loans,
Okay, true.
and that was probably to buy a
But
Frenchie.
they were
But
about,
still,
I was just about to say, but that went hand in hand. So the people that wasn't stealing them, they were stealing money
Right.
to buy.
And that's
So
The-
you know
the-
what I'm saying? Whatever you had to do to get you a Frenchie back then, that's what it was, bro. So I mean, it became one of those.
and that's what the market is still rebounding from is that
Right.
and the prices were extremely overflated. I mean, I ain't gonna say they were maybe not overflated, but they were not.
So what were they before that? Because I didn't mess with Frenchies until
So,
after I
this
come
is-
in on the end of COVID. Like, so I seen them, like we bought them real high there in the beginning, but then we got lucky and I noticed, well, man, people are getting out. So if I'm going to be serious about this, like I knew that when I bought dogs, I'd be able to buy them cheaper if I waited, but I'm going to have to hold them a lot longer.
Right.
Because you got to wait for the bottom to happen and then it to come back. But it's not going to come back to that level. So what was it before?
in the 90s, because this is when I started breeding in 95 or whatever.
Okay, in the 90s.
I
I don't know nothing about the 90s.
Right, y'all.
I want to hear this.
I
T-Rock.
graduated in 95, so don't start that.
So even then, a low end Frenchie was still around $5,000.
Right. See, that's what I always thought. They've always been. What I tell you, for me, I always thought.
But there was only maybe 100 to 150 litters of them a year in the United States.
Okay.
So now, again, supply and demand, right? There was a demand there, but the supply wasn't there, so the prices stayed. I mean, and they were still selling anywhere from $5,000. I'd talked to a lady that was selling for 20, 25, 30,000 back then. And I thought, it's the price of a damn house back in that time, you know?
Yeah.
So they were high then, you know? But even English Bulldogs were somewhere between 3 and 8. You know, good ones were 10.
Yeah, backyard breeders back then was at least 15.
Right, you
That's
know?
what the guy down the street sold them for.
Right, you know, so that was the prices back then, but there wasn't back then, you know, you got to think there was no DNA testing, there was no health testing, there was no man, when I switched to English Bulldogs, I didn't even know about artificial insemination trying to get them to breed and all of that, you know. So I wasn't very successful when I switched over. For one, Google wasn't around yet. YouTube wasn't around yet. Those instructional videos that everybody's got today that makes them, which I think helps eliminate the backyard breeder part of it, is there's actually educational videos now out there that people can learn from home and do better and be better. So, you know, thank God for the internet and people that can actually read and learn stuff. But so Frenchie's has always been a luxury dog since I have known about it. So when the trend started, it wasn't out of the realm for me to accept that there was dogs being sold for $100,000 or more and all of that. I just didn't know who the hell was buying them for $100,000 and how the hell do you sell one for $100,000.
Or what about Fluffies in 95?
There was no Fluffies in 95.
Because exactly. See,
There wasn't no Fluffies in 85, 75, 65, 55, 45, 35, 25. There was some mixed dogs way back in the day.
Okay.
But let's don't bullshit this as a recessive gene that just popped up in the middle of the night that two people made a mistake.
See what from the research I seen, I don't know because I wasn't alive then, but they said that the dogs had this gene as far as the carriers, and it was only a certain amount that had it, but people tried their best to breed it out because nobody wanted Fluffies because they thought the dogs were just fucked up looking dogs.
I'm not going to say back in the beginning that it wasn't in there.
So that they weren't. So that they really, people were breeding and did not want fluffy carriers.
Okay.
So they tried to breed it out, and now
They didn't know what it was.
But how did they know if their dog was a fluffy carrier or not? Eventually, it changed, right? So for hundreds of years, 100 years, there was no fluffies. There was no fluffy Frenchies.
So
they
Joplin,
said they were so undesirable that
Joplin has
that
a
people
story.
tried to breed it out.
That the ladies that when they switched over to Frenchies, which I guess they've been doing Frenchies like 25 years or something like that. The lady that mentored them when they switched had been breeding Frenchies. She was an old lady and she'd been breeding them forever. And she would, on occasion, like only twice or something like that, produce a full fluffy and thought it was a cull. And that quit breed, thought something was wrong with her dogs. And would quit breeding that female and just give that puppy away. And that would have been 25 years ago, back in...
Yeah, but you have to look at it.
I don't know. That's his story, not mine.
I started with Boston Terriers.
That's but see, like what I just kind of read this just doing research.
I started with Boston Terriers, but some of my Boston Terriers you could tell was mixed with Frenchies. Why? Because they had a screw tail. Boston Terriers, you have to dock their tails. A true Boston Terrier has its tail docked.
Okay.
If it has a screw tail, that came from the French Bulldog in that line. So I'm not saying somewhere along the lines a mistake didn't happen and somebody bred those dogs anyway that has the fluffy in it. But when it appeared this time, if it is a true French Bulldog gene that was hiding in standard French Bulldogs, why did we go from a standard looking French Bulldog to a ginormous ass fluffy?
People try to rush the market,
I was
right?
just about to say.
Well, that's the thing. That's my point. Is that people added into it to make it happen.
Mankind fucked it up.
It wasn't. If the recessive gene was out there and they had bred true Frenchie to true Frenchie with those recessive genes,
and got the
we would have had a true AKC standard fluffy Frenchie to begin with. But we didn't. We've had big, almost German Shepherd ass. You know, one of the most used dogs in the world was Yolo, and was great fluffy for one of the first. But that dog was big, very big. But if you wanted it, that's where you went because that's who had it.
Say at the time around like 2021, yeah, he was probably the main dog I saw all over Instagram. Yeah, that's yeah. That's probably who I saw all over Instagram mainly the whole time.
Yeah, because I mean he had over 200 and something breedings. I know he was way up there in the 200s because everybody used him. But you know, and then they started coming. So I just, for people to get on there and say, "Oh, mine came from this," or "Nah, bro, your dog was mixed somewhere along there too." That's
So, next question. What is at the end of the day? What does it really matter with a Frenchie? Not a single one of them son of a bitches loaded up on the ark. Like
Right.
that's a man-made breed. It
That's-
was a mutt from the very beginning, and then somewhere arbitrarily, some organization like AKC went, "This is the fucking standard. Just
Right.
freeze it right here. No more progression. This is what we're holding to. The values." Like, but it was a mixed breed. Like it.
But you know,
It's always been a
it did. The AKC standard followed the KC standard of colors and all of that, right? And the way the KC came up was there used to be lilacs back in the day. There is an actual story of the lilac dog,
Yeah, didn't they call him like purple?
something. But
Called it like purple. Or something
they,
back in the day.
the dude that owned one of the big silk producer owners factories or whatever, got tired of getting beat in the show ring by these lilac dogs. Well, he had enough money to pay KC to say, okay, well, only these like 5 colors are acceptable now. And they've never changed it since then. So that dude must have had a shitload of money because why are we still hanging on to some old, they've never added color. If you go look at the other breeds, they have progressed along the way and have allowed other colors in, have allowed where they were once short-haired, there's a long-haired version of them now. So, you know, you look at the Dotson, the Wiener dog, there's a short-haired one and there's a long-haired one. Why has AKC and KC not let the French Bulldog Fluffy over there yet? Because we're well enough into this now, and there's some very well put together Fluffies out there that AKC could say, okay, now we have a Fluffy Frenchie, and they just haven't done it yet. And I'm just wondering why they haven't banned us. So that, I guess that's a good thing,
And there's DNA testing now. You could verify the percentage.
right?
You don't even have to go off a visual.
Right. You know, it's a most of them, a lot of them. Well, I can't say that anymore. Back when Flair 3 years ago, most of the Fluffies were at that point where they were showing up 100%. You still had some out there in the 90s, couple out there in the 80s, but anything above 88 or 89% is considered
88, yeah, I think it's 88.
considered purebred by AKC.
Right.
So if that's the AKC standard, then that means they're leaving wiggle room in there for
Only see
growth in that breed. And
But you know what it takes to get to 88% pure? Like when you do a cross,
right,
that's 4 generations if you breed back each time that cross to 100%.
percent dog.
So like when you're doing that with the Fluffies, there's no 100%. So like when you do a breeding, if you breed an 88% Fluffy that's considered, and your dog is in the 70s,
Right.
You didn't make that generational jump,
Right.
So you need 7 or
Right.
8 generations to get there, versus the 6 if you just do the math to 100%.
And that, yes, for the ones that just started out, okay, I'm going to go buy this Fluffy, which wasn't 100% Fluffy, and I'm going to breed it to this other Fluffy that wasn't 100%. They were not gaining anything. The people that changed it and got their Fluffies to the 100% were the ones that were going carriers to carriers and slowly working that and building a bloodline to where they were doing what you were saying. It's pretty much almost, they never took that big hit of a
yeah,
a monster.
Yeah, 50-50.
Right, you know.
70%.
Right, you know, so
most people that I've seen that had that 88 or 85 or anything. Hell, the only other dog it was mixed with was English Bulldog.
but
I never seen it mixed with any other dog.
American Bulldog.
right, you know, and
Okay.
that's if you think about it like this, they're not purebred. So it shows up that they are, but we've changed it so much. It's not the standard Frenchie anymore.
That's what I was
It's
gonna
an
say.
exotic Frenchie. It's again another man-made version of a dog.
But that's what I was about to say. So if we go off AKC standards,
Right.
Fluffy. Let's not even talk about Fluffy.
Right.
Let's not even talk about color. Let's talk about size. A lot of dogs on AKC standard. A lot of dogs that are heavily liked today, and the style of dog that's heavily liked today in the dog game that we see a lot, are not AKC standard dogs by height.
Are you talking about the
Or
tiny
elite.
ones? Or you talking about the big ones?
I'm talking about the tiny ones.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that, not because I'm not saying I don't like them, but I'm saying that because people focus so much on a dog that is so much taller or bigger or weighs this. At,
Right.
at one point, that was the thing. Everybody was saying, well, how much does your stud weigh? How
Right.
long is he? How tall? Man, like that shit don't even matter. If you like the dog, breed to the motherfucker, because at this point, it's still within AKC standards.
Right.
But when you're looking at the internet, we going off what everybody else like. So now it's this certain style that everybody's created.
'Cause you gotta
and
sell
the
your
dogs
dogs.
are smaller.
That's
right. I get that. But that's the thing. You can't allow, if you're gonna argue something AKC, that's what you're gonna, to me, be all the way with it. You're gonna try to stick with
Well,
that standard.
come
If you're
on.
gonna argue standards when you wanna ask me about something for my dog,
Right.
and you wanna say, well, hey, is it within this, within that? Because AKC, that's a little too big. Well, fuck, that's too small
Right.
by AKC standards. So
There
what's
is.
what's the difference? You either want to breed to this motherfucker or you don't. At this
That's-
point,
that's the
kinda
key
how
to
I
it.
feel, bro.
Yeah.
Quit letting that be
And-
the reason why you don't breed to the dog.
And that's after we got into Flair and he had his
'Cause I
productions
like
out
all
there.
styles. Some that are bigger,
Right.
some that are regular standard size, and some that are small. I like them all, bro. I'm gonna breed to what I like. I'm not gonna worry about, oh, well, I'm only gonna go to all small ass dogs
Right.
and or only dogs of this. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy as fuck, because at that point you limit yourself.
Yes, and that's
Because you got customers out here. Walmart don't only sell one flavor of motherfucking chips.
so.
And he doesn't only sell. They don't only sell Doritos. You see what I'm saying? Your competitor is right in there with you on that motherfucking shelf. People come in, they're gonna buy what they like.
Right, and that's where the stud game is. You sooner or later it has to depend on the production of the stud. You know what does is he consistently throwing? And I tell people this: bring me a bigger Flair kid than he is.
Right.
There's maybe some out there, but I don't know of any. And everybody's gonna say, "Well, it was because of all the females." Trust me, Flair didn't go to all top notch, standard style, best of the world females. He put in his work in a lot of litters and stamped them and made his look. But that's the sooner or later you have to quit looking at the stud and you have to look at what that dog produces. And on a consistent basis, he produces smaller than he is. To no matter what bloodline or what dog he goes to.
So that's the problem though, right? Like so
Right.
when you get these new studs, all the brand new releases,
Right.
They weren't built to be studs.
No.
They were built to be like to bring
A tool.
DNA forward, because they don't have. They're basically scatterbred.
Right.
Is what they are.
Yes.
So they don't have a concentrated bloodline behind them that can produce a consistent look.
Right.
So you got to get one, and then you got to go back to work on it. And that's why people, when they breed to a dog that costs them $5,000 for the stud fee, and they get a litter full of dogs they can't sell for $2,500 each. That's why, because it's scatterbred.
Yes.
There's so many bloodlines and shit mixed in with that you're not going to get any consistency.
And that's where I tell everybody when I make that statement, Flair was produced to produce.
Some dogs are just tools.
Because he was produced to be a producer. Why? Because he was not a scatterbred dog. His pedigree was built. His getting to where he was very strategic and took 5 generations to get to where he is.
That's why understanding line breeding is important. Not just, I'm going to run that back because I'm going to lock
Right.
some shit in. You need to understand what you're locking in, because the same bloodline can have bad traits.
Yes.
And if you lock them in, then you're gonna set that you're gonna double down on that bad trait. And it's
That's
gonna
what I
take you
was
2
gonna say.
breedings to get that shit out.
That ancestry, that matters. You need to know how consistent, like you said a while ago, how consistent he throws, or you need to know the consistency of the ancestry. If he come, you can have a dog that's big as shit, but he comes from a whole back line of nothing but small ass dogs, and he throws nothing but small dogs.
Right.
But if you don't give it a chance because he's a bigger dog, because they say, oh, well, your dog weighs this, he weighs that, I wouldn't breed to him because you're going to have some big ass puppies. That's not always true.
I like big.
That's
ass
not all.
puppies.
Right.
And
So-
number
I don't know
2,
about
that's what I
everybody
was going to
else,
say a while ago. Now, I know a gang of people that love big dogs. I'm one of them. I like a dog with size on it because what are these? French what?
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. I don't want my dog without the bulldog, man. Where the rest of the motherfucking dog at?
That's what I tell everybody.
You got them short-haired Pomeranians now.
Yeah,
Don't
you
get
know.
caught up in the hype. Don't get, like I said.
And I tell everybody, you can have you can have a 17-pound Frenchie, fluffy Frenchie, but he's 2 foot long and 3 foot tall, and when you look at him straight ahead, it's like looking at a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
They're just thin and scrawny, and there's no muscle mass on them. There's no.
Those are they adopted. They didn't shop.
Well, that's so there's all that, and then here's the other problem: is people bringing out these new studs that really probably shouldn't even be brought out. But let's run a stud special.
And tell me this. All right. Tell me this. If you got a female and she lacking, and everybody else, I need bone. I want to add bone. Well, how do you add bone if you ain't going to the bigger dog?
That's the other problem. So
I want to know how do you do that? I mean, every dog that's small is not going. Sometimes you need that small female to go to a bigger dog that's going to really add that bone because it's almost guaranteed at that point sometimes.
right, and that's what I'm saying. And like I was saying, the special on studs is just ridiculous. And as my favorite saying is, if it's on special, it ain't special.
Well, I mean,
I get when everybody's bringing a new stud out, there should be some kind of intro rate for that stud till you see what that stud is doing.
but you can never offer that dog for less than that.
Again, never.
Even if your dog slows down and you got to do it as a business decision, like so you shouldn't bring your dog out at a point to where you got to decide I'll just keep him.
Right.
I'll never let him breed for less than 1,500.
Right.
And then you got to stick to that because all those people you sold them stud credits to, you just devalued everything they do. Because it affects a stud.
Well, if it is in the height of, let's just say, okay, so this week you're doing $3,000 stud fees and you're selling stud fees and everybody that was a paid in full because it was a new stud out. But 3 months down the road, now that this dog's fixing to work and everybody's done these early $3,000 paid in fulls, and this dog's fixing to start working, you pop up with, oh, he's $1,000 this weekend. Give me all your money, or it's 4th of July and I want to go to the lake and rent jet skis. So guess what? My stud's $500 or $1,000 for the next X amount of people, and that's the biggest. I'm not going to put all the game out there because it'll screw a lot of things up. But I'm just going to leave it at that.
No, I'm gonna tell you. So if you look at it, like I took advantage of this recently, and the thing it benefits is if I'm not gonna spend $4,000 for the
Right.
stud, but then you offer it at a $1,500, $1,000 where I can get to it. The thing is, I'm glad you did it, and I'm gonna take advantage of it, and I ain't gonna hate you for it. But I do say this: the guys that you hit out the gate, you really fucked them, and the way you fucked them is you gave me the same DNA for less. Now I'm their competitors, and since I got it less, I can sell it for less. So that's what they mean when they say you're devaluing your blood, because once you let me get it at a lower level, then I don't have to worry about selling my puppies at $5,000-$10,000 a piece.
And that's what I'm saying. So like, let's just take Flair and Teddy Grahams and Willy Wonka when they first came out, and we were all within like 8 to They were
10.
set
They
10
were
to 15,
10.
12. You know, they come up with some numbers that I don't always believe, but they were all at least $8,000 to $12,000, right? And we ran with that for a while, but it comes a time and point when they slow down. Those breedings have been done, and everybody starts catching up with that DNA. Well, now you have a couple choices. You can leave that dog at $8,000, and it's probably never going to work again because everybody behind you done knows I'm going to cut their price.
No, but you're talking about a long run,
Right, but-
it's happening now. Like
Right.
it's happening in 3 and 4 month.
So it
intervals.
was starting. That's where I was going with this. Is it was starting during Flair and Teddy Graham's and Willy Wonka's run that other people were coming up with Rojo Fluffies, but they couldn't compete against them three. So what was their favorite thing to do? I'm running a special this weekend. You know what I'm saying? They'd already got lock-ins. Like one dude had got lock-ins for like $4 or $5 grand paid in fulls, and then turned around and ran a 4th of July special for the dog for $1,000. And people were hitting him up and was like, so I get some of my money back because I just paid you last weekend for this paid in full, and now he's $1,000. No, you know, or people were locking in for the $500, and he's like, well, he's $1,000 now. Well, let me get that. I'll just send you the other $500. No, you got to send me another $1,000.
Now the flip side of that, the argument to that is if you go to Walmart tomorrow and you buy a 75-inch TV for $1,000, and then on Black Friday I go buy one for $4, how you gonna be mad at that? Man, like that's just how capitalism works.
Yeah.
Now I don't agree with it, but I'm just telling you, like that's how it works. Like Walmart's not gonna give you money back. You just got
right.
You should have been a smarter. You should have been a holiday
okay,
shopper like
but
me.
You
I
expect
knew that sale was coming.
You expect Walmart to have a Black Friday sale, right?
You should expect stud owners to do that shit now.
At that time in the stud game, that was not an expected thing. Now today, I fully expect to open my Facebook and somebody saying, "Hey, somebody bring me a dozen donuts and a 12-pack of beer, and you can breed to my stud." That's kind of where it is right now. Is whatever they need at the moment. Bring me 2 joints and a fucking Old English 40 or some shit, and
put that on the internet. You still get in trouble for that shit.
and you get to breed to my stud for the rest of your life for free. It's just stupid ass shit that they are putting out there that, you know, to make people use their dogs or get whatever they need. I mean, bring me a old Krager wheel for my old fucking 74 Nova, and
Hey, I like the barter. I don't see what's wrong with that.
I don't mind the bartering and all of that. It's just the fact that because you can't sell stud fees doesn't give you the right to fuck up the game for everybody else.
But it does. In
No.
a capitalist market, it does.
They
Once
can sell
I
these
buy
stud
the
fees.
once I buy the blood, it is mine. What's in my yard is mine.
I don't even give a shit that it's my blood, somebody else's blood, or whatever. All I'm saying is you can sell your stud fees for, I don't give a shit if you sell them for $10 and a wooden nickel. Do it in messaging and not on the internet. You are killing your stud. You are killing your program. You are killing everything. Nobody is ever going to come to you again with an early lock-in or any type of shit until they're ready to spend that money with you, because they're scared to death. If I spend $1,500 today, this fool going to have this dog on sale for $250 tomorrow.
I'll be honest with you right now. Like when they first come out, there ain't no need to jumping on that, because one, that if you're breeding from them, you've already missed the fad. If you can't, there is pyramids to that. There is levels to it.
I don't believe we're ever going to have that. I think Flair, Willy Wonka, Teddy Graham's was that last big market hype.
But that ain't how they sell it. That ain't how they sell it. They keep selling it like it's coming. Like
Right.
you got to get this and it's going to happen for you again.
No.
And people
In
keep
21,
still
that
buying it.
wasn't happening.
No, it's not going to happen again, because the DNA and is so scattered where we used to follow one trend at a time. Duke, 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 Duke. There's so many trends out there now. Floodles, teddy bears, huskies,
Kind of the same thing.
EA huskies. But everybody's got a different name for stuff. You know what I'm saying? People are still trying to push this velvet stuff out there. It's just dying. It died with the hairless.
I like the velvet. So you just go home with your bad self. And just
I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm just saying what they presented to the public to start off with was bad. And it gave everybody a bad taste about that dog. Instead of cleaning it up and making it workable.
Velvet's never gonna be pets, and I'm gonna tell you why. Them some bitch itchy, man. Like you gotta want one. It's like having a hot rod.
Right.
You gotta want to work on the son of a bitch. You know, because
Yeah.
it's gonna require more maintenance. The velvets, they just itchy. Now the silkies, I don't really know how you get there because I seen at Frenchy Bowl's first time I seen a full fluffy velvet. Them bitches ugly. Like, why their ears? Like if they got a velvet coat with
But their
fluffy
ear-
ears,
right.
their ears is jacked up. Looks like
In the
they
beginning
need
they
to,
had a lot of issues.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Is it just
like all over the body?
the market could come back, but it's so scattered now. You just need to pick a lane and say, okay, I'm either doing the Floodles, teddy bear, whatever they are. I'm going to do the husky coys. I'm going to do the EA husky. Pick a lane if you're going into another.
The Floodle though changes the look of the dog so much. I don't even think they're Frenchy no more. They're a subcategory. There ain't no way you.
They're not even close. You know, hats off to Justin Ashmore. He doesn't hide what he's building. He brings it out in public.
I ain't saying it's wrong or they're doing
Right.
anything wrong. I'm just saying like it's not a. It's a subcategory.
But I will give it to him. He's trying to get that Frenchie kind of look back in them. But with all that hair on their face and
covering
stuff,
it up, yeah.
you miss the Frenchie face, the look of it that's hard to get back out of them. So yes, I put them in the category of a true doodle dog.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's got poodle in it. Don't got poodle in it, people. Don't get in here in our inbox and start griping because it is what they've done with the Labradors to the poodles, the Labradoodles, the every kind Cavapoos, everything has went to a poodle and it's either a doodle or a poo. And right now there's a lot of poo in the Frenchie.
There's
a lot of poo.
Yes, there is.
So that is just. I'm not ready for it. And I even told Justin Ashmore that I love his dogs, but they're not to a place where I'm ready to step into that lane and go yet. Again, I was one of the last ones with fluffies because I wasn't never going to own one.
I hate poodles, period. Like I had to, when I was a kid, my old man had one and it was the worst dog ever. And if I kept my door shut, it would shit right outside my door. If I left my door open, it would shit in my bed. That dog hated me, and I hated it back for life.
We had one
it's
too.
It's not going to die out.
His name was Paddlefoot because he'd go stand at the door and just stand there and paddle. And then if you didn't get there in time to let him out, he would jump up and bite the doorknob, but his mouth was so small that his front teeth or whatever, it would just get hooked on the doorknob, and then he would just start yelping because he was hung on the doorknob and couldn't get down. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the poodles. My sisters had them. I had an uncle that had one for years and years. It got blind and finally got lost one night when it went outside to use the bathroom, and he was devastated, but the rest of us wasn't.
They should have tied a string to that dog.
So, but it was, I get everybody wanting to make something, and there's still money to be made in the game, but it's quality. Everybody's wanting quality now, and you got the shoppers. I don't want to hear, oh, everybody don't want to pay for quality. No, they don't want to pay for quality, so they're not your customer. Let them go pay for what their quality is.
Well, they can't, right? They can't afford. Like nobody's going to say, "Oh, I can afford the good one. I'm just not going to get it."
Right.
It's because they can't. Like
Right.
right now, it's tough. Like I hear people talking about, "Oh, the market's not dead." Well, it may not be dead, but it's rough for some people.
It is.
There's people out there that it's rough for.
Where the average breeder could make good money 3, 4, even 5 years ago. I mean, during the PPE and all that, where it was just easy to sell dogs for $10,000 or above. It was not a big deal for the average guy that nobody even knew to sell a Frenchie for $10,000. But we're not in that market no more. And I'll say this, and it's not to be mean at anybody, but the top guys are starting to eat each other because that easy money isn't there for them anymore. You know, you see it, little slight digs here or there, whatever, but it's not. It's crumbling from the top down. That pyramid is crumbling from the top down.
Or they're consolidating.
Right.
They're working together now.
Yeah, some of them are.
Maybe not the top level that you're talking about, but the ones right underneath them, the next level in the pyramid, a lot of them are consolidating.
Those first ones that had the money and was getting screwed the most in the pyramid, yes, they are starting to figure out, hey, this was a bullshit method of how to do this. We need to work together to create a quality dog. But here's the funny part. I think they learned that from the small breeder, because perhaps even me, when we created Flair, we had a small little team of people that was working together, and we used each other's studs. We used each other's females. We paid stud fees for each other. We built dogs to get to where we was, but we all had to have something to get there. And I think that's kind of where that's going now. It's not a pyramid scheme anymore. It is a true co-op of dogs, you know, and I think that's the best way to do it. If you can find you a good co-op of people that can work together and say, hey, I know you got this stud or this stud fee. I got this female coming in. Let's put them together. Let's create this quality dog. Let's split the money. Let's make the money, because on your own, trying to keep up with any fad today is hard to do.
That's the problem right there, though. A lot of people don't want. They want the light. People want the light. They don't want. They're not even worried about the dog having the light. They want their name to be known, so they don't want to share that light with anybody. They don't want it to be Benny and Kevin, T Pharaoh and Kevin, T Pharaoh and Benny. A lot of people want it to be just T Pharaoh, just Benny.
Right.
What you trying to say?
Kevin.
Was that a Freudian slip right there?
No, I'm saying
Like,
in the world, though.
That
Like,
is-
you know how, like,
you're
real,
right.
Like the motherfuckers in the game now that I see, they not worried about none of that. They too busy trying to be seen themselves. They not worried about the dog being seen. So
That's
if they
what
can
I
create,
always tell
if
everybody.
they can
The
create
proof is
something,
the proof is these
so if they
these
create
fucking
something,
new big studs.
it's about
how many
me
of them
becoming the
at
next
dog
thing.
shows?
Right.
The fucking owners are there.
Right.
But where are the dogs at?
Right. They're at home.
That's what I'm saying. It's about me becoming the next big thing, not my dog. You want the next dog. You want your dog to go viral or be all over the internet for people to know who the fuck you are. Thinking that's just gonna pad your
And
pockets
that was always
because
my
everybody
statement on Flair was,
Right.
I want everybody to know who he is. I don't care if they like me, know me, anything. As long as they know who Ric Flair is, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Another one of my famous deals is, if you want to be famous, join a boy band, because you should not think you're a superstar because you bred a couple dogs together, you got a dog, whatever it is. That dog, we're breeding dogs. That should be the center of attention. Whatever dog that you think is the baddest, whether it's a male or a female, whatever you produced, or even if you bought the dog, that needs to be the center focal of the deal. Granted, eventually, and I have to learn it, I have to accept it, the name gets big as the dog do, but
Right. But see, that's the thing. If people know your dog, they're gonna know you. But some people only want the dog to be known only so that they can be known. And once they become known, the dogs don't become shit no more. Now all they do is try to just be like, they wanna do shit like now I remember at one point everybody started going live. Everybody started going live at night. Everybody
Shit, they still
everybody
are,
knew
man.
every
Right.
motherfucking thing. Everything everybody said, you know what I'm saying, was the right way to do shit when there was no quote unquote textbook style when it came to doing certain shit. You see what I'm saying? It was and it wasn't. But people start coming up with their own ways, I think. And it's
So,
being like, well, if
I
I'm
look at it
somebody,
this
what I
way.
say is right. You know what I'm saying?
you look at the breeders and you try to say, okay, when you look at these, they keep getting invited to be a special guest or a show or be a judge or whatever. This is what I ask. And this will surprise some people, but let's just start off with like Justin Crawford. How did he become known? Do you know one of his dogs? Yeah, Maui.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look at Aaron J and Anthony. Trigger, that's their dog that set them off, right? I mean, you can trace it back to a dog, whether they produced it or they bought it. They took this dog, they done something with it. They are known for a dog to start off with because of that dog. Isaac really wasn't known until he got Champagne Poppy. You know what I'm saying? Now, Pete Ellis, Mr. Banks. Without Mr. Banks, nobody knows who Pete Ellis is. Me, Ric Flair. Without Ric Flair, nobody knows who I am. Now, you go into some of these other breeders. And this is where it gets. Old girl from Sugar Frenchies. What's her dog's name?
Hell, I just learned who she was a couple weeks ago.
Eleanor.
Yeah. You don't know. I know his name is Capone, but she didn't produce him, and he ain't all that. But I'll give her credit. She takes him to shows and takes him out.
I
But
can tell you what he looks like if I saw him.
It's not. It was never about her dog.
I'm gonna be honest with
Her
you.
following didn't come from her dog. Her following came from her modeling herself.
I honestly knew her and her husband from doing what they do and then they were gonna be at Frenchie Bowl.
Who Ghost? When they were the Untouchables.
Yeah,
and then somebody touched him.
However, whatever.
So, and they wasn't so untouchable no more.
And then that's when we were conversing with each other at the time, but they had bred to
Yeah, but you missed
the gumdrop.
But you had missed the whole before that.
Yeah,
before they were even together, right? Is where she started building her name.
I didn't know her before they were together. I'll be honest, I didn't.
Her videos were her in a skimpy bathing suit sitting by a pool. Yeah, her Frenchies was running. And again, nothing against that. Right. I promise you, if I could pull off one of them bodysuits and I had big boobs and stuff, and it would help me sell a dog, I would do it.
Go viral if you would do it.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but here's the thing, and
what would it take? What would it take?
See,
right now, what would it take to get you to do that?
When I met her and started really talking to her online, she had just had a hellified gumdrop liver, and I had just did a breed myself to him, so I was like, okay, I'm trying to see what these pups about. Then I was thinking about buying one, and they were nice dogs. So then I started looking at the other dogs that she had on top of that, but I didn't know them.
You didn't remember their name though. You just couldn't remember to say their name.
Yeah.
So, and then you go. Let's go out into California. You got Celebrity Kennels out there.
Yeah, Manny, yeah.
What's his dog?
Blackie Chin.
That's
the only one I know.
And that's the only one you know. And why do you know it? Because he come out there with that stud special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not because of what the dog done or the impact. And I'm not taking nothing away from Manny because that is a promoting fool. Yeah. I mean, he's got the attention on him. But that's my point. You have breeders that are known because of their dogs. Even that hobbit, what's his name? Rusty Coleman. Legend. He was. What was his dog's name?
Which one?
The cream one. Steel, that's it. He ain't got nothing that's legendary. But still, he is known by that, right? Yeah. That's what he built his name on. That's what he is still relying on to this day is that. Now, you get into, there's Christina Puckett in Oklahoma. Yeah. She produced Milkman off of Maui. That is her claim to fame. Everything since then has pretty much been bought, and I ain't going to say she ain't done good, but here's the thing. All of them people had a dog, right? Mm-hmm. Very few of them produced the dog. I think Justin said he produced Maui. There's always a debate about that. But he says he did. Okay, fine. Right. He produced Maui. Rusty, I want to say produced Steel. Christina produced Milkman. Aaron J and them bought Trigger. Then we're going back to this. Manny bought Blackie Chan. Okay. Eleanor bought her dog. Okay. So there's ways to do it. And they all took those dogs and promoted them and turned them into, I ain't going to say they took those dogs and promoted. Some of them did and some of them didn't. But they turned it into the persona they are. Then that started the pyramid scheme of, this is what we are. If you buy one of our dogs, this is what you become.
Yeah. Well, see, at that time, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of people that were producing their own dogs at that time. Because I had just
No, if you wanted,
because
so
I had just came in myself.
if you go
and
back
it's-
to
and I
Aaron
was
and
re-
them with the lilac and tans, they were one of the first lilac and tans. That was that's what made that dog so popular
dogs started
here.
coming from the UK like crazy.
Yes,
around that time.
yes.
That's what happened. Like that's what was taking over around it. This is like 21.
Right, yeah.
21. Dogs was coming from across overseas, and that started being the thing.
You know, and
everything
that's
that was coming across, if it came from over there, it was like it was automatic. It was
so.
hype behind it.
But back to Aaron and Anthony, one of their first Frenchies, his name was Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He was a chocolate brindle, the littermate brother to my girl Nibs that I have.
Gotcha.
So that was their first Frenchie, and she's my first Frenchie. You see where they went and where I went.
Who produced he came in quick and then I don't know what happened, but he came and he left. But at the time he like it was a lot of dogs that came and left at that era, man.
There was a lot of
dogs-
scamming going
a lot
on
of
at that
dogs
time.
Came and left at that time.
People
Like,
were collecting
there's
stud
some of those
fees and
dogs I
stuff, and
couldn't
then
even tell you where they went
just
to.
disappearing off the planet
'Cause you
of the
gotta
earth.
think you had World Star, you had Netflix, you had a lot of dogs around that time that came in that at this time you don't really hear those names anymore.
No, and there you go. There's that was my point. You still hear about Trigger. You still hear about Steel. You still hear about Maui. You still hear about Milkman. You still hear about Champagne Poppy.
Yeah.
Blackie Chan's only brought up in the fact that he started the cheap stud fees with him, the $1,000
Where
flash
you,
sales.
and you could get pink, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the pink, with a dog loaded that much DNA. Let's don't bullshit it. That's where that started.
Yeah.
And was he wrong for it?
Probably, but God bless him.
Probably, but
I'll be honest.
but
though,
God
even before-
Almighty, did that man make
but I-
money doing
but I-
that?
But I fucked with Manny before that because Manny always used to be one of the main breeders that I don't think he always went with the with what everybody was saying.
Right.
Like, at that time, it was real heavily pushed. No Pied, no Brindle, things like that. And I'll give him credit to say he's one of the first people that I heard come on and say, man, listen, if you out here listening to people, you don't have Pied, you don't have Brindle, then you probably ain't got yourself nothing. You probably got a giraffe. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, like, I had a lot of respect for him whenever he said that because, man, I think they pushed that narrative too hard too. The no pie, no Brindle.
Right, and
think
and
they pushed
I
that
never
shit way
changed
too
from
hard.
it, and I think that
I love pies. I love Brindles. I think a lot of times that's the most structured dog you can.
I just
have.
sold a
Let me-
pie
so-
tonight, so I'm
You
not
know
too
what I'm
worried
saying?
about it.
So yeah, you did. You sold Bree's dog.
Yeah, I sold Brienne's pie dog tonight. Charlotte.
She's got. Goddamn.
I told you, I said son of
Oh,
a bitch.
man. I just talked to him about this son of a bitch earlier too, and she's gone already.
So I got-
it don't last long, but see, that's what I'm saying, because those dogs to me will never go out of style for one reason: you'll never see two alike.
Right.
Spots are you'll never see them out of Merle's pies. Show me two with the same exact spots all over the body, exactly the same. I don't give a fuck if it's a kid reincarnated by the dad. I guarantee there's gonna be some spot on the dog that the other dog doesn't fucking have.
Right.
I've never seen two dogs with the same exact spot.
So I got to ask about the stud. So just devil's advocate. So when you were saying earlier that people wrecking the game, whatever, when they drop the runnings, but if you had an agreement like where you're talking, if everybody just agreed, they're not going to do that. Isn't that price fixing? Like if they did that if they did that with Walmart and Target, like we would be, matter of fact, that would be against the law.
Well, yeah.
So I mean that would be what it was. If you don't have these rogue breeders,
I ain't
for
gonna say
whatever their
it's-
motivation is,
Right.
whether it's money or they just want to
But
piss
see,
you
that
off.
shit don't matter.
So okay.
But that shit don't
so
matter.
I want to say this: if it was Joe Blow down the road, right, that hasn't been selling people stud fees for $10,000 or $12,000 a stud fee, If it wasn't them guys leading this charge, the same very ones that while they were trying to sell their $10,000 stud fees was bitching at the little man for selling his stud fee for $1,000 on a dog that didn't have no DNA or was very incomplete in DNA. If it wasn't those guys doing it, then it's not an issue with me. But it's the very guys that charged everybody tens
That's
and
my
15,000,
That's
20,000
my
and bitched about the little guy saying, "Oh, you're running the market because they had their stud at $1,000."
Right. That's my thing right there.
But that little guy can't sell the stud fee for $10,000
But
that
the
other
only
guy
reason they're
can.
mad is because of that. Because that is the only tool
But see,
that a
that's-
small breeder has is price point.
That's it.
That is it. That is all you have. Like you can get the same DNA. I can have a dog that is comparable to Flair, and to go up against you, all I've got
It's price
is
point.
price point. That is
Man,
it.
listen.
That's how you pierce the market.
But to me, that should never matter to any breeder, period, for one good reason, in my own opinion. Because in my world, what you eat don't make me shit.
Well,
I live in a different zone. You live in a different zone. I don't live in that city. So I'm gonna treat my shit like I'm Foot Locker.
I'm
I
going to
don't
give
give a fuck if you can go on the street and buy them Jordans for this.
right.
My price is retail in this motherfucker. I'm staying where I'm at. And if you don't want to pay it, then go find them on the street. But guess what? On the street, they sell faster. So then ain't gonna be that many out there. You get what I'm saying? Or it's gonna be a lot of them, and you're gonna be chasing that shit.
In today's market, I'm going to give some advice of if somebody gets in your inbox, take their money. That's the advice I got to them. Don't let them leave your inbox and go back to over there to old boy because you're too prideful to lose $500 on something.
Because old boy's going to. He may
Oh,
not
he
put
is.
it out there, but he's
Exact-
going to.
I can promise you right now, if I don't like you, I'm going to make sure my stud sells more than yours does. So if they get in my inbox and it's between me and you, you're going to probably lose unless you're ready to do some crazy deals. So,
That's why
But-
I got a bunch of females. I don't give a shit about these studs.
but even at that, so when it
Does
comes
it
to
even matter?
puppy sales,
Does
it's
it
the same
matter
thing.
now?
You know what I'm saying? I get asked this question all the time. Well, how much should this puppy sell for? I know how much I can sell the puppy for, but I don't know how much you can sell it for.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about you and how you promote.
And that's the thing. There's levels to it.
Your
What
market
y'all
is
sell
your
a
market.
puppy for may not be as much as what I sell a puppy for. But what I sell a puppy for is not the same price that Aaron J. or Justin Crawford and them can get for it. They can get more than me. There's levels to it. It is all tied together one way or the other, no matter how you look at it, to the business you've built, the name you have built, and
Because
all of that.
the breeder brings perceived value.
But if you live in a place where supply and demand, we're gonna go back to supply and demand. If I live somewhere where there are not hardly, because there's a lot of places that don't have fluffy Frenchies. Still to this day, people in around that area, they see them, they go crazy. They're like, "What is it mixed with? What is that?"
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
a-
fucking
what
even.
is it
They
mixed
still
with?
don't even
Right.
fucking know. They've
That's
never
100%.
seen one in
That's
person.
100%.
We're
Here's
talking
the other
2025
problem, though,
going
with
into
that.
2026. So, and you can sell them a fluffy of any sort for $4-5 grand. Why? Because here it's more valuable. Because it's not here yet.
Well,
Even though it's been out everywhere else. You see what I'm saying? So I think it depends on where you live at, to how you promote, and it's all about your camp. You can't keep basing your shit based off what every other man does. I can't watch
bit of
your
that is-
pockets and try to make my shit what your shit is. I got to do what works for me.
some of that is right, but some of it is small market thinking. So, again, when we started with Flair and Isaac and Mo were talking about they run Texas, they got Texas on lock. My post was, y'all can have Texas, I'll take the rest of the world. And that's what we did. So, and that's what I tell everybody that gets in my inbox is, you're probably not going to sell that dog for what you want in your area or even in Texas. You better market to somewhere else. Because the thing is, nobody wants to buy your dog right here in East Texas. They would rather go somewhere else and buy a dog. So they didn't have to say they bought it from
Right.
T-Rod.
Damn
Or they don't want to say they bought it from Kevin or Benny.
Right.
They want to go somewhere else. So whether it's a stud or a puppy, you get more attention away from your hometown,
Right.
your home state.
Right.
You go out to these other places and they'll use you because they want different than what everybody else has in town.
But see, that's the crazy part. I thought just like that when I first got in. I never had plans on selling a dog to anybody in East Texas. Not anything toward people here in East Texas, but I felt the same way. Nobody around me is gonna spend that kind of money with me on a dog. But I know what goes on across the world, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna get online. I'm gonna get in the game. I'm gonna get online, and I'm gonna market to people across the world in different states. And I'm trying to have a dog in every state.
There's a caveat to all that though, because
But
You
my
got to
first-
be willing to
I
put in
mean,
some
but my
miles.
first-
Well,
my
not
first
just
customer-
that. No.
But my
When it
first
comes to the
customer was
fucking
from
dog,
East Texas.
so how many generations of your fucking work is Flair?
4 or 5.
Okay, so if I just got into it 4 years ago, I'm 2 generations into my shit.
Right.
My shit is not there like what I want it to be. So to say that you should mark it out, no, because if you come out too early, you're gonna be a laughingstock, and it would take much longer to recover from that. You're not gonna have that respect, right? They're gonna clown you, and they should.
No,
if you come out with some shit that ain't just quite right, that's too
You gotta know.
leggy,
You gotta
that's-
know that. That's why you gotta know what you. That's
And
why
so
you
if you
gotta
do
be,
know
you
that,
can't be
You're right in
colorblind.
that
think it's small
aspect of it.
market, you need to take your time and build your fucking camp, because once you step out there, like, them bitches gonna pick your dog apart, and if your dog ain't all that,
Right.
then you're not gonna have
But
the
you
support
can't be-
behind you to weather
But
that.
that's as long as you, if you breed right in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. Every breeding is not just because you breed to a top stud and you got a real nice female doesn't mean that your breeding is gonna come out. All the puppies gonna come out bang, or that you're gonna have a nice puppy out there at all.
Right.
Really, at the end of the day, that's God. If we really had to be truthful, we just take a chance and think we know what the fuck we doing. We shooting dice right now. It's 50-50, but partial of it, but. To have a better chance, your knowledge is where it comes in at.
Right.
So, to me, if I know, I don't give a damn. If I got a Ferrari, that the value of that motherfucker don't change because it's in my hands. Now,
It does.
Listen,
Yeah, it
no,
fucking
no,
does.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
100% it
Listen,
fucking does.
If that motherfucker isn't worth $1 million off the floor, it's worth $1 million. Now, where it changes is when it goes into a motherfucking hands like Kevin. Kevin is like, okay, we're going to say Dez Bryant. Now, when you sign a jersey, you get a Cowboys jersey and sign it, now that motherfucker worth even more. It goes up. But it doesn't take it down just because I have it. So at this point, if I breed to the right dog, with the right female, let's just say Flair for example.
Right.
How many people's programs has he changed and put their ass on
A
it
lot.
and brought them up?
Right.
So much
Okay,
of this
then.
shit's a
So it's
goddamn
all about how
popularity
you breed.
contest.
That's-
Like, you gotta,
that is.
If you're not, that's why
Some
it
people
does
done
change
made
the
it by
value.
luck on the first breeding, and some people bred right on the first breed, and it did good for
But
them.
they
took the
had
fuck
people
off.
that liked them, that backed them, and then they had this conglomerate of
How the
you
hell?
know,
But that's what I'm saying. So every breeder and every dog that I mentioned earlier that really made it, say Justin Crawford, he was a Merle with Fluffy. That's what Maui brought to the game, right? So he was a different.
he has some structure to him.
He has some structure. He was a different thing to add. He was giving them a value that everybody didn't have that they wanted.
Right.
When Steel came along, he was a platinum and everybody was chasing that. Trigger come along, it was a lilac and tan. Everybody was chasing that. So everybody went to them and their popularity grew, and now everybody just associated, hey, if you want the new stuff, these are the people that give you the new stuff. So no matter what they put out after that, they already had that following. And still to this day, they have those followings, and they don't
Right.
But
what if I can't
have
what if
anything?
What if those people don't know how to get to you? If they don't know how to get to you, and the closest thing they can do to get to you is have to come to me, they gonna fucking do it because they want it. So because guess what happened? You sitting right here, you can vouch for it because it was you. My first fucking sale, my brother-in-law told me I bred to Lo Mein. I spent $5,000. I spent $500 to ship it, $5,500 just to get this shit. Shit came wrong because of the weather was bad, how things went, and it was over. She spiked over Christmas Eve and Christmas on the weekend, and it snowed that year, and shit was ugly. Got it in and got it here on her last day of ovulation. Had to pay for a surgical. Now, after that, she gets pregnant. She only has 2 fucking puppies. Fluffy's is still real high at this time. I got an all black Fluffy, and then I got a lilac and tan fluffy carrier. Because why? Because Lo Mein is a full fluffy.
Right.
Okay, and at the time he was hot. Then a motherfucker come from the UK, things were like it was. Now he don't know who the fuck Lo Mein is.
Right.
He don't know shit. I'm promoting Lo Mein to him now. Showing him what I'm breeding to, what blood I got in, Lord Sugar, all this.
Yeah.
He don't know none of this shit.
Right.
He don't know how to get to these people.
Right.
But if I say it's the shit right now, to him it's the shit.
Right.
But it wasn't.
And
Let's just tell the truth.
well, in the beginning it wasn't right. In the beginning,
Aaron, it was the
yeah,
shit.
To him it was
To
me.
me,
To his wife it was the
fuck
shit
what
though.
his name
You see what I'm
was.
saying?
Wasn't worth
To
that.
him it didn't matter if the motherfucker was Kung Pao or Ric Flair or whoever.
Wasn't-
He didn't give a
it
fuck
wasn't the
because
shit.
It was too much money for a dog. Yeah, for him.
Yeah.
But my brother-in-law taught me. You know, my brother-in-law asked the same question this man asked me. So how much you gonna sell the dogs for? I said the same thing. I'm starting at 8.
Right.
You know what he told me? They'll never buy a dog. Nobody will ever buy a dog from you at that price because why would they buy it from you when they can go straight to him and get it direct from him? Because they don't fucking know him and know how to get to him and they don't know who the fuck he is.
Right.
But they know who his dog is because of me.
Right.
That's all they know. So at the end of the day, guess what happened? I sold the dog. My first dog sold for the same price that he sold his dogs for to this man and his wife right here. For almost $10,000, pretty close to $10,000 they spent. You see what I'm saying? On a lilac and tan fluffy carrying dog that had everything. But that was the market then, and I was the fucking plug because they don't know him.
Yeah, but that was also you were 100% right. That was the
That
market.
was the
then.
market
You couldn't
then.
go to anybody else and get it
right.
at any
It was-
different price.
Right.
Where that's not the case anymore.
But you also
If
didn't
you
know
had-
how to
you-
get
if
online
you
and find
told
these
me that-
motherfuckers yourself.
if
you
you
saw
told
it
me
down the
that
road.
today, if you said today,
But you have different knowledge today.
I have different outlets today. I can get on Facebook and go find any dog
That's
now.
there's
for
the
half
key
of
to
what
it.
you're
But you
asking.
don't
Is,
have it. But you could have done that then. But you
No,
know you
because
have
we did look. Like you think I didn't go home and try to prove to
You
her
were-
that she's getting
you-
overcharged?
you-
I went home
and you were finding a lot of dogs because remember you sent them to me and I was like, yeah, that's not a bad dog. You were finding dogs, but the thing was that type of shit you wasn't finding.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's
what I'm
that's
saying.
my point. Is that was the market then?
Right.
Yeah.
Like $7,000 is what a lilac and tan was going to be then.
Right.
Period.
Right.
It didn't matter what all it carried.
So
But that's not the case anymore. Like you can hell, you couldn't give away a lilac and tan now probably.
right.
But the thing was, I was told that because I am not who I am, this is my very first litter. Nobody knows me. I cannot sell dogs at that price at all.
Well, now
But you
I've
was
never.
told that by somebody on your level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't. It
But
wasn't.
if I'd have let
It wasn't
that
Kevin.
if
It
I'd have
wasn't Aaron
believed
J.
If
It
I'd have
wasn't.
believed that, I'd have sold myself short. Is basically where I'm getting at with that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You can't ever think small when it comes to this shit. No
That's-
matter
that's
what
the
level
point
you're
right there.
on, you can't think small. I'm gonna think big. I'm gonna bet on me every motherfucking time. You're not gonna tell me I can't sell my shit for what nobody sell for. I don't care how big or small.
So,
I am,
kinda
'cause
the-
it's about how you promote yourself. I'm gonna go out here and promote myself just the same way McDonald's promote themselves. I don't give a fuck if you don't know me.
It's
I'ma
kind
make
of
it
like
look
anything.
good.
It's kind of
McDonald's
like
got a
even
value meal.
They do.
I'm just saying.
it's kind of like the cars. You know, when they first come out, they're high as hell. But if you wait till the end of the year and they've already got the new models coming out, well, prices are going to drop. So that's where you kind of look at it with the dogs when you drop the litter.
Yeah.
Up until they're 6 weeks old, you can get people locked in at a high rate because that's now. You wait. If you're like, man, I don't know which one of these dogs I'm going to take out of this litter, so I'm just going to hold on to the whole litter, and I really ain't going to advertise it. I ain't going to do anything. You end up now in this market taking a loss sometimes or a lot less because, for a perfect example, the pod I sold today, I turned down $30,000 on her when she was little. Right. I didn't get $30,000 for her today.
Yeah, I feel you on that because my brother-in-law has had a dog. We both know, and if he was around, he'd tell you himself like, I wish I would have took it when he took it. Got over 25, but he wanted more. You know,
But you know, but there is some dogs in the world that Money still can't buy. Flair's one of them. You know what I'm saying? I was offered $100,000 when he was 3 days old. I turned it down, and $100,000 would not buy him today.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of times, if you'll sell a stud to a new market or co-own it out to a new market, that stud will start working again like he's brand new.
Right.
But my point was,
Some of
Flair
them-
does this already. You know what I'm saying? We go through these spurts. Like after Frenchie Bowl, he's done 8, 9 breedings since Frenchie Bowl. The dog 3 years old, and he's still working like that. Where's the other Rojos working like that, even from 3 years ago? I know there's new ones out there that work quite a bit, but those that was on that table with him ain't
That's
working.
what I was saying earlier. It's a lot of dogs from that era because I remember when Flair came. He came pretty much in that line. And when we went to Frenchie Bowl, some of those dogs I named earlier, they were there. They were names that were there. World Star, Netflix, things like that. And I'm like, where are they now? These are people that I remember walking
Rap
around
Star?
with my camera. No, World Star.
Yeah.
Rap Star too. Rap Star. You had not even let's go even further. The Dope Man. Remember, he was a fluffy.
Oh, yeah.
The Dope Man. I remember all these are dogs I remember filming at Frenchie Bowl 1, and I remember running into these people, and I knew the dogs for a long time.
Yeah, but you know why
and then
them
I seen
dogs
them in person,
disappeared,
and they
right?
Disappeared.
Let's talk about Rap Star, Dope Man, Champagne Poppy.
Champagne Poppy come back a little bit.
You know why all them dogs just kind of disappeared after that Frenchie Bowl?
Why is that?
Because they was all photoshopped before the Frenchie Bowl, and then they brought them to the Frenchie Bowl, and people got to see what they was in true life.
But see, I like the Dope Man. He was actually a nice dog. in
I ain't
person.
saying they were terrible, but I'm going to tell you, they were not what they was portrayed.
I'll be honest. I wasn't impressed when I seen and I had a friend that spent a lot of money that had bred to a lot of like some of the people that I know were like, I got a friend, a kennel partner, he was the first person to even breed to Netflix.
Right.
Netflix was okay. I was cool with seeing him. I didn't really like World Star when I seen him in person at Frenchie Bowl. I didn't. I got to be honest. I really didn't. He didn't look anything like I saw. And I had a friend that spent a lot of money breeding to him. And he was one of the first people to breed to him. And I was just like, man, okay. But a lot of those dogs are not around anymore. And I just want that.
You know what I really thought you was gonna talk about. You know, I thought you were gonna maybe well, I don't know how to say this. Tell the tale of one of those famous Rojos.
Well,
Don't do it.
Say,
Don't do it.
Say, nah, I'm gonna keep it 100 because I don't do. That's one thing that I can't do. I won't ever put the dog out there bad as far as saying the name or saying the breeder. I'm just gonna say.
Let's just say that the chocolate factory changed ownership.
Yeah, man. There was a
tale
there was
about
a good there was a good group of y'all at the time.
Right.
Y'all started some shit, and so it started being Rojo season around the world.
Right.
Everybody's trying to get Rojo, but everybody had went past it because everybody started jumping on the Isabella trend when it came out. Okay, so my brother-in-law and one of his kennel partners. I mean, you know, they spent a lot of money. Like I said, a lot of my people, they spent a lot of money breeding to a lot of these dogs that were hot at the time. Well, they bred to a particular one. And it was, you know, one of the most highly anticipated breedings that out of all of us because, you know, the type of money it costs.
I want to ask a question in the middle of this. Why did they choose that one?
That is a good question.
Okay,
In
you know what?
retrospect,
I was about to tell you. You know what? I'm glad you asked that. In my opinion, you know what?
it was the worst one.
No, listen.
But-
You know what I'm gonna do with that? I'm gonna do with that question.
I know the answer to it.
I don't recall.
I know the
I
answer.
don't recall. I'm at like court. I don't recall because if I tell you why, I'll give up the dog. Probably if I tell you why, because there's probably one only good reason why they did like the dog. I like the dog too. I'm gonna be honest with you. We all was in love with the dog, but like I told you, whenever I end up seeing
I wasn't.
Flair,
I'm just gonna.
I was in love with Flair when I seen Flair.
Right.
Had never knew nothing about y'all. Didn't know where y'all came
Right.
from or nothing. Okay. Now at this time, the dog he chose is a dog that I was in love with too, and I actually was gonna breed to the dog, but he was like, "Your female is not gonna be. He's not gonna be ready when your female is ready." So I never locked the dog in. time goes by, they go do a breeding to the same dog. He probably saved me because the dog threw tails as long as my fucking pinky finger.
Well,
So-
my point being is, at the time, out of the 3 Rojos, and this is for everybody to understand, while Flair was busy, I didn't have the name. He didn't have the name behind him that the other 2 had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Did not have the popularity.
Because like I said, I seen y'all online.
So-
I liked him, but you didn't see a lot online of people just really fucking with him like that. And then at Frenchie Bowl, when I met y'all the night before
Right.
at setup, I was like, oh shit, there go Ric Flair.
So, and that's what I'm saying. They picked that dog somewhat for the dog, but more for the hype that backs him.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what everybody was doing then. Yeah, they was going off hype. Everybody were hype breeders back
That's
then.
my
Everybody
point
was.
behind it is,
if the name would sell puppies, you bred to the dog.
and the funny thing is,
Yeah.
they could have locked Flair in at that time probably before Frenchie Bowl. I mean, at Frenchie Bowl, we turned him into a $4,000 paid in full or $8,000
Well,
with
this was way
$5,000.
after Frenchie Bowl, though. This happened like a couple years after Frenchie Bowl.
Oh well, then they were just stupid.
This is a couple years. That's what I'm saying. Like
We're
the
not
Rojo
gonna
shit,
get nowhere
that's what I'm
until you
saying,
tell us
the
how you
Rojo-
really
That's what I'm
feel.
saying. The Rojo shit had been out for a minute and was flying like crazy. So it was a bunch of them out
If
there.
they hadn't known
And
by
so
the, I'm
they
sorry,
had a lot of it was a lot of options out there. They
If-
just chose what they chose.
if
because
they
of
didn't know that
who,
the tale of the tale by then, they wasn't keeping
Well,
up and
they were
doing their
actually-
research.
I think they were actually one of the first people to breed to this particular dog, and that's what happened. And then there was a lot of litters out at the time, a good amount of litters out, but we were trying to figure out why nobody said anything. But then it made,
Well, it's because of
but
the
then it
stud.
made sense.
It's
Because of
why-
the stud owner.
Well,
no,
it's like if
no, it made
you go
sense.
breed, if you go breed to
Yeah.
a new stud, and you have that problem, you're not going to bust that dog out because you now have all that
And
money
it's gonna make
wrapped
it hard
up
to
in
sell
your
your
litter.
puppies. So
Exactly.
now you just sell
So
yours
that's
and
how
get rid of them. And
that's
you
how
just
they
leave it at
keep
that.
perpetuating and moving forward, even though they put shit out there
Yeah.
with these scatterbred dogs.
Right.
Is because like the people that bought into that fucking I don't know
Here's
and,
what-
and my brother-in-law and them being the type of people that they are, I'll say this: they definitely would never want to put bad blood. They want us. They want to be people that give out good information in the Frenchie game, but at the same time they don't want to be damaging to another breeder. But then they also don't want to see a breeder be doing fucked up shit.
Right.
So it was such a back and forth. It was such a back and forth decisions to where he was just, I guess he made me feel like it was in his best decisions just to let it fly. You
Let
know
it
what I'm
go.
saying?
Well,
Just
and
go
that's what they rely on.
And I understood why he made that decision. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
because
saying?
it's kind of like breaking the law together.
But that's
you ain't
what
fixing
them-
to tell on the other person because
Right.
it's going to affect you too.
That's what them hype breeders, as I like to refer to them, that's what they
And
depend
I'm
on.
thinking he's thinking like, well, eventually somebody eventually is not gonna be pissed about it, and
Right.
they're gonna bust the dog.
And that's
You
what I was. It's crazy, and that's what I tell everybody. When we came out with Flair, I went up against two of the biggest names in the game at the time, especially in Texas, in Isaac and Mo. I had to be on point 100%. Everything had to be right. I couldn't stumble not one time. I couldn't trip over myself not one time because they were waiting for stuff to post about me, to post about Flair, to end that. Because while everybody else didn't see it coming, they knew they wasn't selling the stud fees they should have been selling, and they were going somewhere, right? Why has people just flocked away from them and started using something else, and
But
it was
I will
Flair.
say this. Right now, you still see Ric Flair blood. You still see Teddy Graham blood. I don't see a lot of Willy Wonka blood right now.
Well, they closed down the chocolate factory.
I don't see a lot of them.
You know,
I don't know what happened.
Charlie
I don't see
took
a
it
lot.
over, got hooked on meth, and I don't know really what happened, but
I don't know if it's common practice or not, but that what they did to your brother-in-law with the stud fee was some bullshit. Like charging him once he got there more money because his female carried testable is and it was a considerable amount of money. That's kind of bullshit, because you didn't have anything to do with the work that he put in to produce that fucking female. And then now you going to profit off of his work.
You don't know how many studs in this world I did not breed to for that simple fact.
I had a lot of breeders that asked me that back
That's
then.
getting in your pocket.
But that was the
That
thing
that
back
is
then.
fucking getting in your pocket. That is a greeter.
I think but see.
But here's the funny
I think
part
we
of
all-
it.
We all went through that back
Everybody
then. though.
fell for it, right? But how many of them breeders ask you for pictures of your litter when they were born?
Exactly. Yeah, they ain't no follow up. They don't fucking
They don't.
care.
They didn't follow up. They just duped you into spending that money. They didn't really give a shit. They just figured out a way. And I do not believe that you should be taxed on something you already paid for. That's the democratic way in America.
There's a bunch of
The
people who
Democrats
actually
do that. Oh, you paid taxes on that? Well, guess what? Now you go pay some more damn taxes
You go to the
because
store and buy a goddamn lawnmower. When you check out, they don't go, you gonna mow people's yards and make money with this?
Yeah.
Or you gonna go home and mow your
Right.
yard? Because we got one price for each for this same fucking
Right.
lawnmower.
You know?
No, bitch, put the fucking semen in there at the price you said on the way down here. And what I do with it is my business, because you already know I'm not gonna get this much for them goddamn puppies.
Right.
Because that's not how the scheme works.
right.
So
And that's the other thing. As a breeder, I was always taught or always thought your puppy should be worth what the stud fee is, right?
Yes.
Because if you didn't do a stud fee, you did a pup back, which should equal the stud
Yes.
fee, right? So if you're paying a $10,000 stud fee, I don't want to hear about, well, we don't know because of the female and all that. No, you're telling us that dog produces $10,000 puppies.
yes. And stand on it. Or
Yeah,
don't.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, now that's something I will say. I don't know if at that time.
It was just a money thing at
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
time. It
saying.
was
I
so
think
easy
everybody
and
was
everything
hitting
was
people across
new.
the head
If
like
you
that.
wanted you wasn't paying for what the puppy it could produce. You were paying for the DNA it could give.
Yes.
So I understand that, but
Yeah.
on this,
But his bitch
Testable-
having a copy
Testable was
had
a-
nothing to do
Well, see, you had to
with
get-
his stud. His
Right.
stud was going to throw what it was going to throw,
Right.
period.
See, that's the thing.
and here was my argument. They were like, well, you might get an Isabella, or you might, mine was on the pinks, right? Oh, you got a pink carrier. Well, yours is only a pink carrier. Well, you might get a pink. Well, what if I don't? Are you going to give me that money back because I
Fuck
didn't get a
no.
pink? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You're scared I'm going to get ahead of you by breeding to your stud, then don't open it to the market.
But also,
But
you
don't
had
charge
breeders-
me for what I paid for already. That's ridiculous. And anybody that says, okay, I'm okay with that, I'll do it, is stupid for doing it. Because as I've done, you just go right down the road. Somebody is not doing it. And I tell everybody,
We got this shit over here. I don't care what you're looking for.
I preached to these people online, these stud owners and all that. I told them exactly, if I come to you to breed to your stud, give me your price.
Yeah.
Because you should know I'm not bringing, if I'm breeding to your stud, he has what I want DNA wise, because structure wise, I already have what I'm going to be looking for. And I'm not worried about your stud. So give me your price for whatever. I don't care if it's $10,000 for the top of whatever you say it's going to be. Give me that price. Because if you tell me, oh, he's $5,000, and I'm like, all right, and then you ask me when I'm about to send you a deposit, oh, what's your female's DNA? And I tell you, and you say, oh no, well it's going to be $10,000 now. Well, you just lost that sale. I'm not going to
fucking right,
$10,000 because a while ago he was only a $5,000 stud. So why would I pay $10,000 now?
And the flip side of that is you're never going to sell those puppies on a regular for that $10,000 stud fee because you're messing with high DNA dogs at that point,
Right.
or you should be high structure dogs, something. So that's not going to be your general pet home deal. You're going to that's going to be a specific person looking for that. So now you're not going to get that. Not on the regular, you're not going to get it because why would if that person is looking for that? Well, that motherfucker probably got bitches at home.
Right.
And why would he pay you for your shit when he could take his stuff and go get a whole litter for the
Right.
same goddamn price?
Right.
So like you're only going to sell to somebody that don't have a female to run or some special circumstance that's finite.
Right.
And there's only so many of those people. So that first wave of people that bred that dogs, those people got wiped off the table. And now what you got left is that mid-level breeder that has the bitch. And why are they going to buy that pup from you when they can just run the real thing for the same price and get a whole litter?
And then there we go right back to the stud special again, right?
Yep.
So now you've been dicking with the price of them.
Yeah, probably doing it cheaper now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So now you've had people inquire and people pay one stud fee because their female didn't carry testable, and then
who started that though? Because when I came in,
the same people that started the no pied, no brindle.
Because when I came in, stud fees never went down. They always went the fuck up, and they kept going up and up and up and
but
up every
because
few
there
months.
was money though.
But
there was all this artificial money in the economy.
That shit never went down.
Right, but now here was the problem with that is when you first got
called a
into it, not
bubble.
everybody was in the stud game either. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Not
true.
everybody had a stud. Everybody was getting females because they wanted to sell mass amounts of puppies for $10,000 or better, right?
Which I thought was stupid as fuck.
So they
Well,
now.
I thought males were the way to go.
But here was the problem with that, right? So these stud owners, they made a lot of money, but they spread a lot of DNA out there and it spread it out. Now everybody's got this DNA with all these puppies they produced and they've sold. So now everybody's got all this DNA. Now they're looking for studs to finish it off, right? And some of these produce studs that were top quality DNA. So now there's little camps out there. So here we go with this. There's a market strategy to it. Yeah, if your female don't carry nothing, it's $5,000. If she carries testable, it's $7,000. If she carries testable in pink or testable in fluffy, it's $10,000. If she carries testable in fluffy and pink, it's $15,000. That's all well and good. But what if I don't get a full fluffy Isabella or Rojo pink or that carries pink or a full pink? That's basically what they're charging you for, right? It doesn't make any sense that 2 months later, all of those price ranges went away. And guess what? Woohoo! Today only, or this weekend, $1,000 and you can have it. What about the guy that said, you know what, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to pay you the $15,000? He didn't eat shit. And now he's watching 40, 50 people buy $1,000 stud fee to this dog.
well, Kevin, that's how somebody gets the shit slapped out of them at a dog show.
Well, that is the truth, and that is where I'm not going to say too much about it because the people that are doing it, I hope that they keep doing it because all that popularity and hype they had around them, oh, these guys are badass. They always sell $10,000 stud fees. They always sell six-figure dogs. Well, guess what? You're busting your own myth. Now everybody knows. You're doing in the light what you used to do in the dark, which was what I said. If you're going to discount that stud, you discount it in a private message and you go on about your business and nobody's none the wiser.
You know, that's the scary thing. Like when people talk about the market not being dead, that what you're just talking about right there is what scares me about it, because what that is eating your breeding stock. Once you are not producing calves anymore and you have to start eating the breeding stock,
Right.
that is an inevitable end.
Right.
Like at some point, it's all going to be over
Right.
and done.
Right.
Now, I wish it would just go on and get there so we can start over.
That's
That's what eliminates the oversupply.
right. And then it just spirals out into other aspects of the dog game of everybody thinking everything should be cheaper. Everybody's dog should be, well, he was a top breeder at one time and he's selling stud fees for $1,000. So why are y'all not? No, it don't work that way. You know, if I like you, I might sell you one at that price. If I don't like you, well, guess what? I'm going to make you pay to use my stud because I don't want to put up with your bullshit. So if I got to put up with it, then your price is higher. I don't care. Because I know there's drama going to come with that. Everything's got to be just so. Some breeders you watch them move. And every time they use a stud or they use a whelper or there's drama involved in it. So when they finally get in your inbox, you're like, fuck, I know they'll spend money, but not all money's good money. So if I have to put up with the drama, then I want to feel like I got paid up front and I want the big money up front. So that is where that falls in. But this goes back to what I said earlier. These top breeders are starting to eat each other and playing games with each other because they didn't stay up with the times. They bought studs, but they didn't produce to say, okay, now look, I've got the quality y'all are looking for. They can't catch up in the quality aspect of it. I mean, they can, but then they have to bow down and buy a dog from somebody like me or you or T-Rod that done structure breedings. And I'll be damn if one of them breeders are going to run the risk of having me say on the internet, they had to come get my blood to do it.
That's they can come to me. I won't tell on you.
You know what? I wouldn't say nothing. I'm petty, but I'm not that petty because I would think of it as a compliment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to look. I have flaregrams. We have flaregrams. I didn't run away from the Teddy Grahams blood. I always told everybody, if I had to breed to a Rojo that wasn't Ric Flair, Teddy Grahams is it. I loved his face. I loved his head. And when I had the chance to buy the blood already mixed, it was a no-brainer for me. I could get both of them in one pedigree and be done with it. No disrespect. I wasn't chasing his blood to try to outdo him with his blood. I honestly, genuinely wanted that blood together. Me and Isaac was never going to put that blood together. We don't hate each other, but...
It don't benefit y'all to do that publicly.
Right, you know what I'm saying? We don't hate each other. We don't... We were both in the same market. You know, you don't see the FedEx guy and the UPS guy eating lunch together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, while we were in the same market doing the same thing, competition-wise, whatever you want to call it, we had jobs to do for our dogs and our camps, and that's what we done.
Hey, no bullshit. My first stud I bought is a Teddy Graham son, and I can't bring myself to rehome him
Right.
for the life of me. So, and yeah, it's because he's got a big old head.
That's the thing, and I tell everybody if you use a stud as a tool and you look at its attributes and you're like, man, if I can get that to pass on to one of my badass females, if I can get that head on that female and a little more body on her or something, that's what you're looking to do. And again, I tell everybody here, there's very few people in this world that if they have the dog that I need that's going to better my program, I'm going to use it. There's a couple people I don't give a shit. I'll just get out of dog breeding before I use anything of theirs, but very few. It would, if that's the breeding I need, if I can't bring myself to do it, I'm sure I got a partner that'd be more than willing to go do the breeding, and we just gonna pretend like I didn't have nothing to do with it, and I'm gonna act like I don't know until it's done. But it is one of those situations where you can't be so caught up in your hatred for a person that you miss the opportunity to breed to the exact dog you need to breed to.
Right.
Sometimes that's a hindrance. Mm-hmm. And if you
not quit trying to breed to the breeder.
There you go.
Breed to the motherfucking dog.
That's what I was fixing to say.
Bro.
I don't care how big a name they got or how small a name they've got.
Right.
Whatever, if they have the dog for you, don't discount it because some little unknown guy in the middle of nowhere owns this dog.
Right.
Well, that makes it easy for you because you're probably going to be one of the only ones with that blood or off of that dog.
Right.
You don't have no competition. So if you hit, man, you run the risk of blowing somebody up and making them big off of that, but
not if you just buy the dog.
Well, and that's the motto of the bigger camps, right? When they find that dog.
See, that's what happened.
Yeah.
See, that's the shit we was on when I first came in. Because that was my thing. When I bred to Low Main, it was cool. It was like, all right, my breeding didn't go like I wanted it to, but it wasn't by his fault or by my fault. It was just the nature of God. But I didn't even want the rebreed.
Right.
I was like, fuck that. I like the dog so much. And I know you're not going to sell me the whole dog, but I tell you what. Sell me a direct son. I know you bred in-house first, what do you got over there? I don't want semen. Sell me the whole motherfucking dog.
Right.
I need the blood with the semen without anything. I need to be able to use this shit 10 years from now because I like it so much. So I'm gonna buy a whole dog with everything jam packed in it.
That's it.
Fuck that. I'm not gonna keep coming to you spending $5 grand, $3 grand. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to make you rich.
Right. That's the truth. And eventually, and I tell everybody this, everybody's like, because you hear people produce not bought.
You gotta buy.
Well,
How do
you
start?
have to.
Hey, okay. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm glad you brought that shit up. And Benny,
Woke his ass up over
Benny, you damn right, because I say this shit all the time. Tell me something. When you sleep with any motherfucking woman in this world, or even if you sleep with a motherfucking dog, can you produce a motherfucking Frenchie?
No.
So then you got to buy that motherfucker to start off. Unless you can make it yourself, you ain't pumping out motherfucking Frenchies out of your body.
That was a weird way of getting
You
there, but
are
I'm just saying.
You're absolutely right
being
in that
real.
aspect.
So how did anybody start? You didn't, and these motherfuckers
But-
ain't running around.
But
as
y'all take
strange
it wrong.
back then.
Y'all take that statement the wrong way.
Okay,
Because, yes, everybody has to buy a dog to start off with.
right.
But you shouldn't buy another one.
No, true. Well, you might have to.
Why?
Because, like I said, I bred to the dad. My breeding didn't go right, but I'm trying to keep using his blood, so I don't have time for shipping to go wrong.
Every dog that me and Gabe Pineda produced, including Flair,
Right. Now, if some
came
point,
from 2 females. He bought one, I bought one.
I get that, but at some
y'all
point
know-
you do
y'all
got
know
to get
y'all
to
need
where
to-
the
Sooner
producer
or
goes.
later,
You
you
do
have
you
to be a producer
I
and
don't
not a
disagree.
buyer.
Now, I do agree with that, but I'm just saying you can't say if somebody starts out with a badass dog that they bought, you can't.
I'm not going to knock them for it.
Yeah, just what I'm saying. People be like, "Well, you didn't